All right. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? We are live here for music therapy for self-care, and it is Thursday, which means it's our second song discussion for the week. And today I have my first guest, and he's a board-certified music therapist for Atrium Health Mercy. His name is Mason Swimmer, and I've known him for quite a while. And when I reached out to Charlotte area music therapists and just a bunch of my colleagues in general, he was one of the first people who reached out to me. And since we are Atrium Health teammates, I thought it'd be best that I have him on. And also, we'll have someone else on from Atrium very soon, but I won't give that away just yet. So, because of lag and streaming issues, we did pre-record the interview. So I would like to get you to that now. I will be active in the chat. So if you would like to join in and have a discussion while we're listening or share your feedback, I welcome that. So here we go. Here's the interview with Mason Swimmer. All right, so today we have Mason Swimmer from Atrium Health Mercy on for a song discussion via Zoom. So yesterday, he and I had actually met and tried to do this live, and because of technical issues on my end or YouTube's end or somebody's end, most likely my end, there was so much of a lag, we had to pre-record this, which I'm sure everybody will be okay with too, because Mason's got some great things to share today. So I'd like to just start, Mason, if you'll kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you're doing at Mercy, and then I'll let you talk about the song you wanted to share with folks today.
Great. Hi, my name is Mason Swimmer. I'm a board-certified music therapist at Mercy Hospital, working for Atrium Health. In recent times, I've been getting to share music with teammates coming in, waiting to get screened. There's usually a line of people early in the morning around shift change. And so just sharing music and getting everybody in a positive headspace and creating a more positive environment using music. Typically, I get to see patients all over. I spend about an hour or two in the emergency department every day, addressing acute pain and anxiety using various music therapy techniques. And I get to see people on the detox unit, working more on positive coping skills. You don't have to have a pandemic to work on positive coping skills. That's something that we all can benefit from. Life gets crazy sometimes, and it's important to take care of yourself. I'd like to share a song with you today that I recently rediscovered. It's a song called Leaves by the band Phish. They just released a new album called Sigma Oasis, and the song really resonated with me. So I'll let the music do the talking. Someone's always telling me to breathe. The wind is always whispering through the leaves. It sings to the world, they cling to the world. I listen and believe. The music stops and echoes linger on, waiting till you sing me one more song. promised the moon, but I needed to, for notes are rarely wrong. We built a kingdom out of lies, and then we blindly fanned the fires. We warmed our hands with glowing coals, now they rain down from the skies. Rising volume, muffled moan, thoughts conveyed in undertones. We built a kingdom out of lies. The moonlight dances softly on the leaves, a message in the pattern that it weaves. It urges me now, it's pleading somehow, telling me to breathe. 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 Breathe.
All right, that was great, man. I really love that. I hadn't heard it yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
So when we were chatting about bringing on this song and you sharing it, you'd talk about slowing down, taking that time to breathe. Can you tell me a little bit more about how this song for you represents that, and why you chose to share it with folks?
Sure. I'm sure people have told you to slow down and smell the roses, take a deep breath. And that can kind of turn people off. Whenever someone's telling you to do something, you might not want to, you don't necessarily heed that advice. And so I like that the beginning of the song starts with, someone's always telling me to breathe.
Yeah, so it's I think we all have a little bit of a rebel within us. It's like, you're not going to do what people tell us to do. I think some of that's evident by I know the Charlotte Observer has the past few weekends shown people at parks not obeying the social distancing order. I mean, I think there's some of that in there, like, oh, we need to stay 6 feet away. We're like, well, I'm still going to play volleyball, and that's not great. So when people are telling us to do things, sometimes we just want to do the opposite. Is that kind of what you're talking about? Like that feeling?
So, yeah, and I think that the lyrics kind of share that sentiment. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we do things that we know are against our better judgment, but we also know our bodies the best. And if we're honest with ourselves, and you take time to get in touch with yourself, what your physical and emotional and spiritual needs are. And for myself personally, the best, quickest, and easiest way to kind of recenter myself, if I'm feeling stressed out or anxious, whatever's going on, is just take a nice deep breath. And there are so many, virtually infinite resources out there for us that can remind us to take deep breaths, meditations, prayer, positive affirmations, yoga. Art can help us kind of recenter. Anything can be a meditation, even eating. And I think it's just becoming aware in the moment, giving appreciation to what you're doing, whether it's eating, resting, reading a book, making music, etc.
Yeah, so it's the counter, right? So acknowledging that initial rejection, like, don't tell me what to do, and like, well, maybe I should. And leaning into that need for breathing and meditation and prayer and all the things that people find important in these moments. I find myself these days creating more and more music, as I imagine you are. Yeah, when we talked yesterday, you were in your hammock playing guitar, and I love that. I think the world needs more of that.
And we've kind of been forced to slow down in the last few weeks as a society, as the entire world. And we're seeing some really cool creative outlets being shared and broadcast via the internet or whatever platform, like Phish that just released a new album. They had like a full that was pretty cool. There were tens of thousands of people tuned in at the same time and listening.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Really special. So even though we can't share in experiences in person together at the moment, we can still find the time to just slow down and kind of get in touch with ourselves and know that we're connected.
Yeah, and I love the pictures and videos that I've been seeing of it's like the earth breathing, right? Because there's less pollution in some of these areas that were greatly polluted because no one's out driving, or at least a significantly less amount of people are driving. So I think, as much as we need to focus on taking a moment and breathing for ourselves, it's like the earth is taking a big breath too.
Yeah, I've seen that, like how the ozone layer is the most whole that it's been in decades.
Yeah, and just like no smog, like at places that are heavily polluted, like some like dense metropolitan areas. Like you can see the skyscrapers now. You can see the top of them.
It's taking a breather.
Yeah. So if you had something, outside of breathing, what are some ways that you find, as you're engaging with employees at Mercy that are there on the front line with you, what's been most effective for them in the moment? How have you seen music have the most impact for those folks?
I think it helps with resiliency, and helps kind of build that fortitude going into a day with that positive spirit and that mindset. I think we don't really know how one positive thing that we do affects another person, and how that's really a catalyst, the butterfly effect. It might just be a smile, a nod, a simple good morning, and that eye contact in person. And it's, while I'm making music, I'm not necessarily able to in words convey, you should, here are some things that you can do for yourself throughout the day if you're feeling stressed out. But I do know that in the moment, sharing music can help somebody else. Maybe it's like an earworm that they pick up throughout the day to a familiar song, and they find themselves humming something or kind of rocking to a beat. That happens to me all the time. I don't know where it came from necessarily. But.
Sure. Now, are you finding yourself injecting more positivity by playing some things that are upbeat just to kind of keep morale up, or are you finding yourself playing things that are more calming? Because my instincts are telling me when people are waiting to go into the building, it's probably more morale oriented, and then while you're on unit, it's probably more calming. Is that kind of in line, or you tell me?
It really depends. Some people are coming into work. Not everybody's a morning person, so I try to really read the energy and that people are giving off as they're coming in. So if someone has their head down, I'll actually kind of quiet down or change a little bit. But at the same time, you have to try to not let people's energies affect what you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to get across with
While,
podcasts.
keeping the ISO principle,
Yeah,
there and intact, right?
exactly. Yeah. So on the units, it's actually usually more upbeat, and where nurses are kind of getting involved in making music, or
Mm-hmm.
dancing, singing at a distance. Sometimes I'll hand out some instruments, which I of course wipe down really well. Uh, but yeah, that's more of like a kind of cut and loose,
Yeah.
being a ham, people singing "Proud Mary," shaking tambourines, and whatever.
Yeah.
But in the mornings, yeah, it is a little bit different vibe. Sometimes it's more upbeat, sometimes it's more um, just playing as the sun's coming up,
Mm-hmm.
listening to the bird song in the background.
Yeah, so just being present and open to giving people, what's needed.
Trying to.
Yeah. Um, what's one thing you would like to kind of wrap things up on? What's your final thought here?
I think it's important for us to take a few moments a day, at least 45 minutes, when you first wake up, maybe during lunch, before you go to sleep, just to take some time for yourself. Um, it's it's like I said, we know what we need,
Mm-hmm.
and if we're listening, then I think a lot of us do need more time for ourselves instead of constantly being on go. Just so find a way. There, it's just taking a walk, um, meditating, praying, works for you. Just mindful of the self you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially for our teammates who are there at the, we keep using the word front lines, right?
Yeah.
It's, we are all probably, not looking out for ourselves at any given day, but because we're so patient oriented and person centered, and our care models around atrium health, and now more than ever, creating content like this is, and sharing music like you are, there in person with these folks is, you kind of need it because people probably aren't taking the time that they need, especially now because it's an intense environment.
And it's the little things that go a really long way, and that we need to find ourselves appreciating, whether it's the wind whispering through the leaves or the sun shining down on our shoulders. Thank you
Nice.
for everything that you do, Dean.
Hey man, it's my pleasure, and I appreciate you and everything you're doing for the folks at Mercy. And thanks for coming on and interviewing with me today. It's going to be helpful for some folks. So thank you, Mason. I appreciate your time and your effort.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Sorry for the delay there. It's kind of hard to tell when the interviews stop, but I'm so glad you've joined me either on YouTube or Facebook today. The Monday through Friday daily stream at 10 a.m. will be going live on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you again, Mason, for coming on and being my first guest. That's something you're going to see more on Tuesdays and Thursdays, maybe just Thursdays or a guest spot day. I'm still working out the schedule for that, but thank you so much for joining. I really love the engagement, especially during the interviews. I can really interact with folks who are watching, so I appreciate you dropping a line, even if you're just saying good morning or hello or hitting that like or heart button. But it would really help me out if you subscribed on YouTube, as well as tuning in on Facebook, because the higher the subscriber count gets on YouTube, the more I'm able to do on my end from a channel perspective. So thank you for joining in and taking some time for yourself. And I will see you tomorrow. It is Good Friday, but we will still go live at 10 a.m. for some music relaxation here on Music Therapy for Self Care. Have a good rest of the day.